What's up, y'all? It's your boy RJ Powell. We are back with another video today, and today we got a different type of video for you today. I've been seeing this all over YouTube so far in the past few weeks, and it is tier ranking that we're gonna do the NBA players under 25 tier list ranking. I stumbled upon the tier ranking videos by King of the Fourth Quarter. Once again, he inspired another video, so appreciate him for making these types of videos. And I've been seeing all types of other YouTubers make their lists of their own, not only basketball, but like rappers, music, and stuff like that. So I figured, why don't I do one? But if you're new to the channel, please watch the video first and then like, comment, subscribe to the Powell family for more basketball and NBA videos coming your way every single day this season. Appreciate the 300 subscribers, y'all. Appreciate the 300 subscribers. Hopefully we can get 400 soon and 500 then. More in the future. But anyway, let's not waste any more time, y'all. Let's get it popping like fireworks. So we got the NBA players under 25. As you can see, there are 5 tiers. Tier 1 being the top of the top, cream de la creme. And then tier 2 is like almost borderline all-star, almost good. Tier 3 is like, okay, you're decent. Tier 4 is like, eh. And then tier 5 is like being the worst. And then we have all of these players right here, players under 25. I'm pretty sure they have a player from each team. I'm pretty sure they should have a player from each team. But again, I did not make this list, so I did not make all of this. So shout out to the person who did make all of this happen. Let's start off with DeAndre Ayton. I feel like DeAndre Ayton, he has great potential. This is just his first year, and so it's going to be kind of hard to put him in a higher tier just because this is his first year. I'm going to put him in tier 3 for now, but I think his potential is like really up there, but he's on a bad team. Let's be honest. Phoenix Suns are pretty bad. Let's go over to Luka Doncic. I think Luka Doncic, after his first year, it's kind of hard. I want to put him between tier 1 and tier 2. This is his first year and he's already balling. I already thought he was an all-star this year. I already thought he should have been an all-star this year. So I'm going to come back to Luka. I'm going to put him at tier 2 for now just because this is his first year and I think he could be an all-star next year. But we're just going to put him in tier 2 for now. Joel Embiid, I think he's tier 1. Put him in tier 1. Yeah, I think he's tier 1. He's obviously balling. If he wasn't injury prone, he would have been sky years ahead of most of the people on this list. But when he's been playing and healthy, he's been pretty consistent. One of the best defensive players in the league, one of the most dominant big men in the league. So he's in tier 1. Let's see. Caris LeVert. Caris LeVert is an okay player. Caris LeVert is honestly an okay player. I'm gonna put him in tier. Should I put him in tier 3? Because he was balling in the playoffs for the Nets, but they went out against the 76ers. So I'm gonna put him in tier 4. I'll come back to Caris LeVert. I'll put him in tier 4 for now. Jokic. Let's put Jokic. I think he's tier 1. Not only because of the all-NBA selection, but Jokic is just one of those transcendent big men who could just pass, ball handling ability. He's just a once-in-a-generation player as a big man. Like, he's one of the most versatile big men I ever seen play in this generation as far as basketball. Now, I know that might be a stretch, but you know, let's go over to my man Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, I gotta be honest with y'all. I'm a Lakers fan, and he's been inconsistent when he plays. But when he does play well, he plays well. Like, it shows in the numbers. He's one of the best defensive point guards in the league. He can run an offense. Every time he's on the court, everybody gets touches. He just makes everyone around him better. I might, just because of the slight bias, I might put him in tier 3. I think he's between 3 and 4. I think if he was more consistent, he would definitely be tier 3. But I think he has great potential. let's see. Let's go over to my man's Giannis. I feel like that's an easy one. He's tier 1, obviously. Still has to work on his shooting. He still has ways to go. He went out to the Toronto Raptors. But I think he's going to be MVP. I think everybody's going to vote him MVP. Based off the season he's had and how far the Bucks went in the playoffs. So, shouts out to Giannis right there. Let's go over to Colin Sexton. Is an interesting one. He's on a terrible team, but he's a good player. He's a pretty decent player. I'm putting him in tier 4. I might put him in tier 5 because he's on a terrible team. Let me put him in tier 5. He's on a terrible. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad at all. But it's just he's on a terrible team and we have yet to see what he could do. I think fully what he could do. So I'm putting him in tier 5 for now. But let's just move on to the other players. Let's move on to Jaren Jackson. Jaren Jackson coming straight out of the Memphis Grizzlies. He has great potential. I think he's tier 5. He really hasn't showed me that much yet. He's a great player. Again, it's hard to rank these players who are on terrible teams. Because they could be great, but is it because they're on a terrible team or is it because they're great themselves? I truly believe Jaren Jackson is a great player, is a good player, but it's just that he's on a terrible team. Like, I'm sorry, Memphis, he's on a terrible team, so it's kind of like, Let's move over to my man De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox, I believe he's tier 2. He's tier 2. I think he's right there with Luka Doncic. He probably I want to say a little bit above, but De'Aaron Fox, he's one of my favorite young players in the league, to be honest. De'Aaron Fox, he has his own YouTube channel. He's been working with other YouTubers. Hopefully I get a chance to meet him and actually work on a video with him one day. And De'Aaron Fox, he's lightning quick, one of the fastest, quickest point guards in the league. His jump shot has improved. So De'Aaron Fox, he's tier 2. Let's move on to John Collins. John Collins is an interesting one to me because I think he has great potential. Again, he's on the terrible team, but they have a lot of good young players like Trae Young, Kevin Huerter. I'm putting him in tier 4. I think he has ways to go. John Collins, did he average a double-double? I don't think he averaged a double-double here, but he was near it. So John Collins is a good young player. I like John Collins. I like John Collins. Speaking of John Collins, let's move on to Trae Young. I think Trae Young is tier 2. I know this is his first year, but Trae Young, I think he's a real deal. He proved everybody wrong. Now, I don't like comparing him to Steph Curry because obviously they're their own players, but they have the similar pass. Everybody thought they're not going to survive just shooting in the league like that. But Trae Young, he's a great player. Ben Simmons. I think Ben Simmons is tier 1. I think he's really kind of a smidge down. He's not tier 2, but he's a smidge down from tier 1 just because he needs a jump shot. And the only thing he can do is drive and pass, but he makes everybody better. And obviously, he's a great player for not having a jump shot. So he's in tier 1 for that alone. Devin Booker. Devin Booker is an interesting one because he averages 25-something points, but he's on a terrible team. I'm putting here in tier 2. Most people may think, oh, Devin Booker is in tier 1. He's tier 2. He's probably a smidge above tier 2. I hate to put him like, not saying these players are terrible, but Devin Booker, he's a great player, but he's on a terrible team, and he's a bucket getter, to say the least. But let's move on to Karl-Anthony Towns. I think it's kind of hard. I'm going to put him in. I might put him in tier 2. I know y'all might be getting mad at me, but I think he's right in between there. He's right in between tier 1 and tier 2. He's right in between there. So, Donovan Mitchell. I honestly think Donovan Mitchell may be tier 1. He has proved a lot to me as a young player. I'm putting him in tier 1. I'm putting him in tier 1. Zach LaVine is an interesting one to me. I think he's probably tier 2. He's on a terrible team, but he's a great player. He improved a lot. He's improved a lot. Steven Adams. Steven Adams is a solid big man. I think he's tier 3. He's a solid big man. He just gets the job done. Hustle points and everything else. Bradley Beal may be tier 1. People need to quit sleeping on Bradley Beal as a player. Bradley Beal has been putting in work out here. One of the best shooters in the league. Actually, one of the best scorers in the league. So, yeah, Bradley Beal is tier 1. D'Angelo Russell. I'm putting him in tier 2. I'll put him in tier 2. He's probably right in between here. He's probably right in between there. He was an all-star this year. So, shouts out to D'Angelo Russell for that. Brandon Ingram, I think if he's healthy, he's tier 3. I mean, if he's healthy, he's probably right in between here. He's probably tier 2, but he's tier 3 for me. He's okay, but he's been injured a lot, so that's understandable. Kuzma is one of those players as well that could be in tier 2. But I'm putting him in tier 3 for now. I know it's the whole Laker. That's disrespectful. I'm putting Kuz in tier 2. I'm putting Kuz just because he's a Laker, and I want to see one of our Lakers in one of the top spots. Pascal Siakam. I think he's tier 1. Based off of these playoffs alone, in this year alone, most improved player, he's been balling out in the playoffs. That first finals game, he's been balling out. Hopefully he can do this throughout the whole series. He's been balling out. Marvin Bagley, he's a tier 3 player. He's a good player. I think he's got great potential, great upside to him. Let's move on. Clint Capella, I'm putting him in tier 3. Great defensive player. Catch lobs, do everything. Kelly Oubre is tier 5 to me. Terrible team, but he's a great shooter. Aaron Gordon, he's a tier 4 player to me. Great dunker. He has improved on his jump shot, though. Zubac is tier 5 to me. He's a good player, though. Again, tier 5 is not bad to me. Tier 5, because these are all the top players under 25. So, to be in that class alone, yeah. Sabonis maybe... I may give him tier 5, maybe tier 4. He's probably tier 4, but again, Kristaps Porzingis. That's an interesting one. He hasn't been playing. So, but when he was playing, he was like almost tier 2. But for a player that hasn't played, I can't really rank. Let's not rank Porzingis. It's kind of incomplete for him. It's incomplete. Julius Randle is tier 4, but he is a beast on the boards. Miles Turner, he may be tier 5. He may be between tier 4 and tier 5. Again, not a terrible player. Lauri Markkanen is a tier 4 player. He's on a terrible team, but he's actually a pretty decent player, pretty good player. Jason Tatum, I think he's tier 3. I think he could do a lot more and could be he actually can be tier 2. I think he can be tier 2. But for now, let's just say he's right in between there. Nurkic is tier 4. He was vital to the Blazers until he went down. He was vital. Jaylen Brown is, he has improved. I'll give him tier 4. Jamal Murray, I think he's tier 3. And Gary Harris is tier 4. And again, Porzingis is incomplete to me because of the season he's had. He hasn't been playing that much. Do you like this tier ranking list? Do you want me to do more of the tier rankings list? For anything, it could be basketball, it could be music. I think I would love to do a music one. But anyway, let me know down who you have in these tier rankings. It's your boy RJ Powell. Cue that Kobe song.
Okay, Kobe doing work. 2-4 on my shirt. He the greatest on the